So one time I was going to Vegas to watch her concert, and when I land there, I see like banners about the Super Bowl, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, they're doing the Super Bowl here in Vegas. And then I always go on dating apps sometimes just to meet people, to romanticize, to be romantic or anything like that. I put on my profile, I want free Super Bowl tickets. Guys like, hey, do you want free Super Bowl tickets? Like, yeah. He's like, what's your Ticketmaster email? Yeah. So I give him my email. The next day, an email comes with the Super Bowl ticket. Transfer to me.
When did you move to the U.S. permanently?
Permanently, when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
Back in 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
Okay.
So market was.
Yeah.
Crashing.
Yep. And then the music stopped.
Yeah.
Real fast after that. Dude, why? I never even asked you this like outside of the podcast. Why'd you move to Florida?
Because I'm originally from Brazil, and back in Rio, we lived in a very good place.
Yeah.
And I was 13 at the time, and I feel like the whole world loves and adores America. I feel like this is the American dream, and everybody wants to move here because here you can get things done, and you can work, you can get a good life, and there's so many opportunities. Yeah. And I remember that I grew up with that mentality of like, I want to move to America one day. And my parents, they're hustlers, they're like hard work people, Yeah. They never graduated high school, they never went to middle school. Like they didn't have any education background. Yeah. But one day I told my parents, so I have two brothers as well, and I told my parents that I wanted to move to America. And I was only 13 years old. So they're like, well, we can make that happen, but we're gonna have to go through the process, and we're gonna have to just find a way to move to America. Yeah. But Florida was the option because of Disney World. There were there is a lot of Brazilians that come here. Yeah. So I feel like it was just an easy bridge to America, So Florida, it was in Disney in Orlando.
So Orlando was like, hey, big Brazilian population here already, tourist destination. Like this is a spot where we can easily fall in and like still have a piece of the culture that we know. Like
and it's very close to Brazil as well.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the closest. In Brazil, we have a saying that this is the end of Brazil because of the coast. If you go Bahia and then all the way up, you get to Florida. Yeah. And it's only an 8-hour flight only. But it's an 8-hour flight.
To Rio? Orlando, Rio?
And I feel like Florida has a very interesting population because there's a lot of Latinos because of Venezuela, Colombia, and Brazil. Yeah. But it feels like home in here. Like Miami looks just like Rio, a better version of Rio. But yeah, it's super nice.
Nice. And then you went to Olympia. We're fellow Titans.
Yes. Yes. Go Tars.
But I'm older.
No, Tars is Rollins, right?
I don't know.
I forgot.
Did you go to Rollins?
I went to Rollins, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
See, this is why I do this stuff.
I went to Olympia High School, and then I went to Vol State, which is Valencia State.
I
went to college. Yeah. And then after that,
Kirkman Road, Metro West.
Yeah.
All right.
That's where I learned life.
You will learn life on Kirkman Road.
Oh, yes.
Yes. That's funny, dude. Okay.
And then I went to Rollins for 2 years. One of the best experiences of my life.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And when did you start Mimo?
Mimo, so when I was 17, I had left high school. I graduated early. I needed a job because I needed to pay for college.
You graduated early at 17. You were living on Kirkman Road, going to Valencia.
No money.
17 needed money.
17 because I have a brother. He's a year older than me, so we graduated the same year. And he got a scholarship because he played soccer. So he went to Kansas City Community College. Okay. And my dad...
Brazilian that plays soccer, real original.
Yeah. Okay. He was the captain. He was very popular in high school.
The
tables have turned. Now who is the popular?
Now you're the popular kid. Yeah.
Now I'm Bernard. Now he's Kyle's brother. It's not Bernardo. Yeah. Okay. But he got a full scholarship, and my dad is like, well, I'm still going to have to help him out. My dad stayed in Brazil because he was working there. He was sending money us here. And he's like, hey, I can only help 1 hour. He's older, so I'm gonna help him for a year, and then next year can go to college. I was like, hell no, I'm not gonna see my ass for a year.
No.
So I went to this tour guide training for this big Brazilian travel agency.
One of like the third-party tour guides.
One of the third-party tour guides.
Yeah, got it.
But one of those that have those big, massive Brazilian groups. And I met a lot of cool people there. So I used to carry the flag.
The buses with the flags, the whole thing. Yep.
And this was back when the currency exchange was very close to real, which is our Brazilian currency in Brazil. So it was almost 1 to 1.5. Now it's 1 to 5.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of like middle class people from Brazil coming here, and they needed a lot of tour guides. So I was like, perfect. It's like I can make good money.
Yep.
I remember I was making like $70 a day. And I was like, I can make good money. I can work during the high season because that's when they needed the tour guides.
Okay.
And I can just like take it easy when the summer kicks in. And it took a long time to finish my degree. It took like 7 years to finish my degree because I couldn't afford to pay for college because I had to pay out of state.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, one class was like $1,100 for me.
It's crazy.
You know? So I was but one of my focus was not stopping. I didn't want to like take a sabbatical year, or I didn't want to like slow down.
Get distracted.
I just, I was like,
Power
I have
through.
to do something, at least one class per semester, you know? Mm-hmm. But it was actually at the end of my journey, it was actually good.
Yeah.
Because as I was working, I was focusing more on work than on school. But anyways, and then I started working as a tour guide. There were like 40 people in the training.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of like intimidating people, a lot of people who had a lot of background with the travel industry. And I was 17 years old.
I was going to say, not to mention, you're 17 years old. Like, you don't know anything.
I was like, I don't even, my first job in America was a server/clown for Brazilian parties. Do you know those Brazilian parties that they have like a lot of stuff happening?
Yeah.
So that was my only experience, you know?
Yeah.
But, and then I started working so I was one of the tour guides that they picked.
Yeah.
Because listen, I would study a lot. I was like, this is my opportunity. Like I'm gonna make it, and I love Disney, and it's fun. You know, you get to meet a lot of people. You know, it was super fun. So that was in 2011, and then in 2015 there was a big Brazilian recession, and a lot of those middle class market crashed.
Couldn't afford to come to Orlando for Disney. Right?
And then the company went bankrupt. So I was like, now I'm going to figure a way to make means of this.
Yeah.
So that's when I started, like by network, I started doing a lot of personalized concierge in the parks for Brazilian celebrities, Brazilian artists, Brazilian athletes, Brazilian.
But wait, how did you establish that network of celebrities, athletes, artists? Like, how did you put that together back in Brazil?
So I had a friend that he was a TV executive producer in Brazil that I met during the tours that I was doing. So I remember doing like every season like 3 or 4 tours with like 100 people in each one of them. So you get to meet a lot of people, and I met him like doing one of those tours.
Got it.
And like we exchange Instagram and Facebook and contact. Oh, when I come next time, I'm gonna actually hire you. Blah blah blah. So that's where I met him, and then he's like, hey, so there's this famous TV hostess that she's going. This was back when Instagram was nothing. I only had like 100 followers on Instagram, and Instagram was not that big of a thing. That was like 2014, 2015. Facebook was a big thing.
Yeah.
But he's like, so there's this thing in Brazil where if you offer them a free service or like a free anything,
something about whatever.
Yeah, they can post you on Instagram, and I'm like, what is Instagram? I didn't even remember that I had Instagram. So with that, I established a lot of network with the Brazilian celebrities.
So Instagram was more of a thing in Brazil early.
Nowadays, like you can. It's crazy because here in America, it doesn't seem like that's not. I have a lot of American clients. I have a lot of space in the American market, but that's not how you attract clients with the American clients, with the American market.
Yeah.
It's different. You can get, I don't know, Lindsay Lohan on Instagram to make a post for you on about Mimo Trips. You're not going to attract that many clients. But in Brazil, if you get the #1 athlete or Brazilian celebrity, you will get a lot of followers that will eventually become clients.
Wow.
So that's what I think it's very interesting about different markets.
Yeah.
Because since I'm expanding my business now to Asia and Europe,
Yeah.
it's a different process, it's a different public, it's a different perception, it's a different everything, you know?
Everyone buys differently.
Yeah.
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 Everybody buys differently, and you have to figure that out.
Yeah.
And you have to like wind back the culture.
It's a different language, it's a
Yeah.
different way of saying things, it's a different way to negotiate, like different people tip differently. So it's very different, you know?
Yeah. All right. So
And then-
so you're giving away these promotions,
Yeah.
and the world is you're not the world, but the Brazilian middle class can no longer afford these
Yeah.
trips. It's only the very wealthy that can come over and do
Yeah.
it. And you're giving things to celebrities, athletes, TV personalities,
Yeah.
and they're coming over and doing these trips
Yeah.
and pushing you on Instagram back in Brazil.
Yes, exactly. And I remember that I was just doing that for fun. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, as long as I can.
But you
pay
were
for it-
still the guy giving the tour, taking them through the park. It was
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
No tour guides working. Nothing of that.
No. And I remember that I figured out, this was back when Fast Pass was a thing.
Yeah.
So I figured out a way of like booking everything
Yeah.
and make sure that they would skip as many lines as we could, because the way that the Fast Pass worked was like you could book 3, but you could also book the 4th. And people didn't know that. You could book the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, up until like the end of the day.
Yeah.
However, you had to book like 3 at first, and then the 4th, and then the 5th.
Yeah.
So I figured that out like very easily. So people started like thinking that I was like a VIP concierge. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just doing like what everyone can do in the parks, which is something like very easy. But since I worked for the tour company for 5 years, I kind of like knew that it's easier for you to get a fast pass for Pirates of the Caribbean later in the day than it is like in the morning. So like
You had the tricks, the nuances.
the know-how,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
You kind of like learn stuff like that. So I was doing everything, and then it came, I think in 2017, I started getting a lot of attention, because I was the first person that had ever done that.
Yeah.
And I started getting a lot of clients. And at the same time, I was still going to college. This was like Rollins.
Got it.
And Rollins, you have to read a lot of books. You have to do a lot of BS.
You transferred in there.
Yeah.
So you're like 3,000, 4,000 level classes now.
It's
time.
like a lot of
cumbersome.
papers,
Yeah.
a lot. And I remember working at Disney like from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And then going straight to college after that and studying until like 10 p.m.
And
So
then
it was-
you still have to study. You still have to write the papers. You still have to do everything.
And then I realized that I had a lot of demand.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I actually get some stuff out of my shoulders, like get some
Scale
fresh
this
off?
thing.
Yeah. And that's when my friends who were working for the same tour company that I worked for.
So they came back after filing for bankruptcy, sort of got back on the scene.
No, they did not. They never.
Oh,
the company is still dead. Now my friends, my co-workers were without a job. So since I was getting a lot of demand, I was like, they already know about Disney.
Yeah.
They can, like, when I have 2 clients in one day, they can actually take the other client.
Yep.
And I can work the other client.
Nice.
So I was like, so here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna book the fast pass at 7 a.m. You're going to take the client here and there and here and there. So naturally and very organically, I was actually training my staff without knowing.
Yeah.
But in my perception was like, they're actually helping me out because I have to go to college. I have to do so many other things, you know. And I feel like this was people ask me all the time, oh, how did you build your business? I never thought that I was building a business.
Very organic.
I was just like, hey, I need someone to answer phone calls. So
like,
I'm gonna
I have this
hire
problem
you.
now. I gotta solve it. I got this problem now.
And then-
I gotta solve it. Yeah.
So people had, what were your ambitions in life? Like, do you wake up at 5 a.m. and then I'm like, dude, I never honestly thought about being a leader. I never wanted to be a business owner. I've always wanted to have a 9-to-5 job and just like not have that much responsibility because it's a lot of pressure sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
And I was just like, and then I saw a lot of money coming in, and then I had to pay my tour guides and my employees every Thursday. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna hire my mom's friend. She's like 65 years old.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hire her to be my accountant. And then I was just like,
you're not stroking checks every Thursday
exactly,
now. Right? Yeah.
And now people are actually asking me if I can book Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique or Cinderella's Wear too. What if I hire someone that will only focus on that? So then I had a concierge. And then now I need someone who will, pick up clients from the air. I'm gonna hire someone who pick up. So it was always like, as a business owner, you kind of have to know what's next. Like, what's the next? You always have to bring a solution to the problem, you know. And I feel like that was just me. Like, I was just trying to think about college. Think about like, okay, so when I finish college, I'm gonna move to New York City, and then that's it. It's not gonna. I didn't even think it was gonna be a business.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and it's funny too, because one of the really cool things about being a lender is you get to learn about so many different people's ways they make money.
Yeah.
Right? That's one of the neatest things about what I do is I get to meet all these different individuals and figure out about their businesses, their occupations, their jobs, their everything. And when you and I met, I forget, when did you buy the place in the sanctuary? 2021?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I had never seen this kind of business before, so I got to ask you questions about it and learn about what you do. And then, you know, we've worked together now for many, many years.
Yeah.
And of course, I get to see it all. I get to see your taxes. I'm your lender.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to see, you know, every year you talk about, oh, you know, you just identify a problem, then you solve a problem. But I get to see the numbers. So I get to see the growth and how your business grew from this tax return to this tax return to this tax return. And it's awesome. It's like so cool to be like party to that success story. I get to see it all. So, you know, it seems so simple to just say like, oh, you know, I just identified a problem and then I solved it. But the real world result is you made a super successful business that's now expanding to Asia and Europe and all over, right? I mean, that's super cool. So you got like all the people now. How many employees, contractors, however you do it, are they here in the U.S.? Do you have people back in Brazil because you need people that speak Portuguese?
Yeah.
You know, how do you
hiring
manage
people.
that?
By the way, thank you so much for the words. Like, coming from you, like it's amazing. But I just I have people. I honestly don't like to know how many people I have working for me because it scares me.
Yeah.
So I have my HR, like, she's like, hey Kai, we need to hire. I was like, I don't want to know. You just do your thing. I just pay the check. I just sign the check and that's it. But I think it's like from 40 to 60 people like in total.
Yeah.
They're in Brazil. Also Colombia, I have some people working in Colombia.
Yeah.
I do have 3 people working in Paris because of Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
So I need like a team that will host our clients in Paris.
Wow.
I have 1 person in Tokyo.
So you hired 3 French people. Speak French?
Brazilians.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
They live there, but they speak like fluent French.
Oh, look who it is.
Now I'm intimidated. How are you, bro?
What's up?
Nice to see you.
You're getting into the good part here. All right, so pretend that the best realtor in Winter Park didn't just walk into the room. All
Now
right.
we cannot talk shit about Brandon.
Yeah, now we can't talk shit about Brandon. But it would have been
Only
good if you
good
were here
things.
because we told our inception story of how we met. So that's okay. That's okay. I got to get back on track now. All right, so three people in Paris.
Yeah.
1 person in Hong Kong.
No, in Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Because
That's where Disney is.
Yeah. As I said before, it's always like about solutions.
Yeah.
And I remember having clients that were like, "Oh, do you know anybody that does the same thing that you do, but in Paris?" I was like, "No, but I can figure out a way of like finding someone.
Yeah.
And Tokyo is the same. Funny because in Tokyo, this girl used to work with me back in 2011 at the tour company that I used to work for.
And she moved there, you just stayed
She just moved there, and then we had a client. I have this client that she goes to Disney like 6 times per year. And she goes to Tokyo, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Paris, every year.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Do you have someone there?" I'm like, "No," but and then I remembered that she had moved. She moved to Tokyo.
Yeah.
And then I went there, and then I trained her, and then I met with her, and then she now does basically what Mimo does here in Orlando.
No way.
Yeah. It's
So you just kind of like align with them in these markets, or you put down like a Mimo flag and like open up a shop there? Because I just saw this morning there's like definitely a Mimo Europe. I saw that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yes, but in Paris and Tokyo, those tour guides are independent contractors, so they don't work directly for Mimo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am trying to put the flag everywhere.
Yeah, that's
Global
incredible.
domination.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the way, as it should be.
Yeah.
It's like, and the problem is, like, you still do the work. It's not a problem. It's really cool. You still actually do the work. Like, I'm seeing you posting the Instagram stories of the Disney Cruise Line and the parks and the this. And, like, you're doing all the research firsthand. Like, that's you.
Yeah.
How do you do that and still manage this whole thing?
So 2 things. I feel like I really like Disney. I love traveling.
Yeah.
So back like in 2011, I was very lucky to have worked for something that I loved. So that was very helpful as well. So now it's a pleasure. You know, I try to share my to split my schedule into passion, which is traveling, to do market research. And also I have my managers that they will take care of everything with their people, with everybody who's under them. Mm-hmm. So I try to only connect with the managers, with the 5 pillars that I have in my business, which is marketing, HR, operations manager, sales manager, and accountant. Yeah. So I only talk to those people, and I have weekly meetings with them. Mm-hmm. I used to have an office here for like 5 years, but I feel like people are more productive working from home. Yeah. So it was actually a good thing, because back in November when we bought this software where it's called Gather. It's like like a, you know, The Sims, a game, like I don't know if in America you guys have that. Yeah. So it's just like that. So everybody
like has
a
virtual workplace.
It's a virtual workplace, and then you have your own like avatar, and then they have like different rooms and blah blah blah. It's cool, and everybody works from there. Yeah. So it's very easy to communicate. It's very easy to work with them. And I have weekly meetings, and then every month I have to come to Orlando to do like a monthly meeting with the managers. Actually in this room.
You come to Orlando every month and you haven't seen me in years? That's your fault.
Well, you never invite me to Houston.
That's true.
Brandon, I already gave up.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
He's always busy.
You guys still work together, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need to finance more stuff in Florida.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Buy more houses in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
No
or
state income tax. Or sell more stuff.
But it's not good for you.
Dig, right? We got a Metro West apartment, condo that we got to sell.
My brother-in-law actually, urban.
Oh, no way. All right, that's a topic for later.
Sorry.
Okay.
Stay focused.
We'll stay focused. All right, so we don't go to Hillstone anymore.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Because you don't drink anymore, which is why I don't invite you there.
Because I'm boring.
Which is why you're like 0.02% body fat.
Yeah.
And like when that happened, for a second I was like, oh man, like is Caio like about to become like a fitness influencer? Like what's going on here?
You know, it's funny that you say that, because I have a lot of people that hate me, that message me on Instagram asking for advice and asking me on how I got it. And I was talking to my friend this past week.
Throw together some coaching plans.
I think I'm gonna do that, you know, because it's not even my thing, you know. But it's I like last year, and it actually helped me a lot. Stop drinking, and one of the things that I focus on is whenever I have a big client, and I've had a lot of big clients, not only politicians but also like big business people in Brazil, like Forbes, top 5 richest people from like those clients. I like to stay next to them, and I always like to listen to what they have to say about work stuff and also their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Number one, they don't drink alcohol. You know, none of them drink alcohol. Number two, they do marathons. They wake up at 5 a.m. I had this client that he was like 78 years old. He was like, dude, I've never seen someone
fit.
with so much money in my life.
Oh.
Like he did the amount of money that he spent was crazy. He would wake up every day at 5 a.m. to run for 1 hour. You know, that's such an inspiration, you know? And they are always positive. They always like, they're very fast. Another thing that I've noticed in people, I have this client, his name is Roberto Justus, and I can talk about him because he was like one of the very first people that opened doors for me. He did The Apprentice in Brazil. So he was the Brazilian Donald Trump, you know?
Got it.
And he's one of the fastest people that I know.
Fastest mentally,
He knows like what he's gonna do in 15 minutes. He doesn't drink alcohol. He goes to the gym every day in the morning. So I feel like going to the gym in the morning, running marathons, stopping drink, and when I stopped drinking alcohol was like, I want to get into the same level as them. And I'm not saying that, in order for you to be successful, you don't have to drink alcohol. But for me, it didn't work.
But you identified it as a common trait amongst a lot of the like top performers that you were exposed to.
Because I would be less productive when I was drinking alcohol.
Naturally.
Yeah.
You're slower the next day.
Yeah.
You know,
and I feel like now I have a lot of time to spare.
Yeah.
Now that I have more time,
That's true.
I'm like, now I want to find other passions and other hobbies and expanding my bit. Actually, I moved to New York City because I was like, I'm not doing a lot of in Orlando, so I have like more. I have more ambition now that I stopped drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
You know,
because
you have more time more free time in your hands. So what you're gonna do?
How the hell? So this is like, you know, if I go stay in Miami for a night, my fitness routine is messed up.
Mm-hmm.
How do you live on planes flying internationally and traveling and still keep the fitness regimen in check?
So
you just live in hotel gyms?
But it's great because there's a website that is specifically for hotels with nice gyms, and they rate the gyms.
No way.
I'll send it to you.
All right, yeah.
So number one, I look for hotels that have great gyms. When they don't have great gyms, and I tell my personal trainer all the time to send me basic stuff to do.
And your personal trainer is remote, it's all...
He's in Brazil.
Okay, got it.
And he sends me like every month a different workout schedule. And I'm like, send me like, I already told him last week, I was like, I'm gonna spend my summer in Europe. And some places they don't have nice gyms, so I need to adapt.
You need body weight stuff in the hotel room.
Don't give me something that I can only do at Equinox or LA Fitness. Like you have to give me basic stuff. So I always try to find hotels with nice gyms, or I have Anytime Fitness, I have Equinox, and they are like spread throughout the world. So you can find like I'm going to Washington this week. I found a hotel next to Equinox, and I'm a member of Equinox. So I wake up, the first thing that I do, I go to the gym, and then I kind of like check that box right in the morning, you know?
Yeah.
So it's easier, you know? And also like eating, I feel like food is the same everywhere. So I don't eat as much as I used to anymore. Or like I kind of balance things out. I calculate my macros, and I don't even know what that is, but it sounded fancy.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like
there.
you just like, I'm gonna eat a burger.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna eat as much protein or carbs throughout the day, so I can save it for later, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like balance things out.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. Mm-hmm. How are we doing on timing, Gio?
We're about 30 minutes.
Oh, cool. We got tons of time. All right. I wanted to talk because you made like the funny joke about like, oh, what are you going to ask me? Remember, English is my second language. Like, does having English as your second language, has it ever become an impediment to your business? Is it difficult? I mean, I feel like you speak perfect English. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, you know.
Kind of, because even though English is okay, so I speak English like very well because I went to high school here.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way to communicate, it's all about the culture. And even though we are speaking the same language, I feel like it's not 100%. So I was very scared at first.
Yeah.
Because as I said, people have different values. Countries have different values. They have different ways of doing business, different ways of bargaining, like and doing stuff and tipping and
Especially Asia.
oh yes. Yes,
Whole different
it's
world.
very Europeans.
Yep.
It's super different, you know. But I used to be very scared because I'm like, wow, so people will notice my accent and they will try to make me less of a professional, you know, like they're gonna try to diminish me and everything like that. But I was never scared. I was like, because like a lot of people here are from other countries, so it's I had a lot of challenges in my life, but I never played a victim. I will always just be like, you know what? I don't care. There were a lot of like I don't cares in my life. Like I don't care. I would only take 2 classes per semester. I don't care. I'll just do that.
Keep it going.
English is not my first language, but that's okay. I can speak 2 other languages, Spanish and Portuguese.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes you always have to see like the pros and cons of everything. It's just life, you know. But I used to be very scared. Very.
It would be not, I don't know, like scared. I would feel insecure.
Yeah.
I would feel insecure going into like a business conversation, a negotiation, because you're right, it's not your first language.
Yeah.
When you're not speaking English and you're in, you know, wherever, London, Tokyo, are you using Portuguese more or Spanish more?
It depends. When I go to Italy, I try to speak Italian because it's very close. If you speak Portuguese, it's easier for you to speak other languages. Spanish, it's very simple. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Italian, you can really understand. French, you have to really pay attention to understand it. But it's easier. And I'm learning some French now. But I feel like
Duolingo or what do you?
Duolingo,
Yeah.
yeah. And I like to date people from those countries. So you're like,
So you're picking up on it and just like on dates or like okay.
I have a date in each one of the. No, I'm joking.
This no, but that's important too because we always talk about work-life balance on these things.
Exactly.
And I mostly like interview people that are like married, so that's different. Having to balance, you know, spouse, children. But dating is arguably like it's a different level of demanding, right? Because you're having to like go on dates, go out at night, and then balance that with like traveling. Like, when's the last time you had like a steady boyfriend, call it? Because I don't know how you do that.
2 years ago, but that was one of the issues is because
you're everywhere.
I'm everywhere and I have a very flexible schedule and I am very independent.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to find, and I'm not rushing to find anyone, you know, like I'm in the best moment of my life. My body's amazing. I feel like I go to the gym.
Love it.
I speak 3 languages.
Staying in 5-star hotels, traveling these wonderful destinations. I know. Every time I look at your Instagram, I'm like,
lots of American Express
screw
points.
This guy. Like,
so you know. But you have to enjoy life, you know, and I'm ready to have something with someone, but I want someone to add, you know, like I don't want to date anyone just to date, you know? So I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of people that I love and everything, but it's hard, and when I feel lonely, I just.
But you do date in all this, like you'll take time, like meet. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be cool.
I do.
Yeah, because you're getting.
I meet a lot of interesting people.
Yeah.
I meet a lot of like cool, interesting people.
Yeah.
And people have different views of life, you know, and it's very cool, you know.
Do you still try to see that, even though you're not drinking, do you still at least try and go see the nightlife in all these different cities?
I do.
Because that would be a super cool part of all the travels.
Yes, I try to balance everything. Like when I always try to get the best dessert. Okay, a local traditional dessert. And then I go out one night And then one day I'll wake up super early, do a morning walk. And then one day I'll go to the best hotel, to the best restaurant. And then I try to experience it all, you know, because I do like clubs.
Yeah.
I go to clubs sometimes, but it's not my thing. I like to balance everything. I feel like life is all about balance, you know. I read a good book, but do I read a lot of books? No. But do I travel? Do I travel a lot? No, I actually do travel.
You travel a ton. You live your life traveling. Yeah.
But I feel like this year I need to do a lot of market research because of my business and everything.
Especially if you're expanding into new markets. You've got to be going deep.
Yeah, but I don't like to go out a lot. I don't like to go to clubs all the time.
Well,
I
and
only
to
go
be
once
fair,
every 2 months.
That's also not what your business does. It's family oriented. Your trips, by and large, don't get me wrong, there are Disney adults. I'm not gonna bash on those people.
Yeah.
But mainly, like it's people that have families that are coming to you, right?
Yeah.
So
And I was never the kind of kid in high school where I would like go out and drink with friends, and then I was never popular in high school. I never had a lot of friends, you know, like I'm all about.
You weren't the captain of the soccer team.
Nah, my brother was. No, I love concerts. I go to concerts all the time. That's actually another opportunity that I found myself in, because since I go to a lot of concerts, like I always like to go to the very first one of every tour.
Yeah.
So like I went to Beyonce's concert in Sweden. I went to the very first one, you know.
Her first date of the tour was in Sweden?
Yeah, it was in Sweden.
Cool.
So I traveled there. And then that's actually turning into a business because I'm buying tickets and I'm reselling them. I bought tickets for Taylor Swift for $700 and I was able to sell for $6,000.
Stop it.
That was actually the day after the Super Bowl. So when the tickets for the second leg of the tour.
What city were the tickets?
Vancouver.
$6,000?
$6,000. And I was like, everything in my life, I don't take things seriously. I feel like that's why God blesses me so much, because I don't take things seriously. I just go with the flow. I just like to play around, you know? And then I was like, I stopped everyone in my office. I was like, everyone is gonna try to buy tickets for Taylor Swift for any date.
Right now, any date, any city.
I remember the
buy
pre-sale,
Taylor Swift tickets.
Taylor. And then this girl, she was able to buy 2 tickets out of everyone working in the office. She was able to buy 2 tickets for Vancouver, December 2nd. I was like, worst case scenario, I'll go to Vancouver and then I can go to her concert because I love Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can go, you know? And then she bought it for $700.
2 tickets?
Yes, only 2 tickets. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm gonna put it on SeatGeek. I know it was Viagogo or StubHub, one of those third party. Yeah. And I put $6,000, $6,500.
Yeah.
Because of the taxes and everything. Let's see. I don't need to buy it. I mean, I don't need to sell it.
Yeah,
I'm just
whatever.
gonna put it there. Yeah. So she started dating that guy from the place for I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Travis
Kelce,
yeah.
something. Yeah. A real Swiftie would have known his name.
Right? So he started playing. He went to the Super Bowl. Actually went to the Super Bowl, and I have to tell you how I got him for free. By the way, later.
All right.
But and then she went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The day after the Super Bowl, because it was all over
everywhere.
The news. I was able to sell for $6,000. You know?
No way.
I think it was the Super Bowl, you know, because she was all over.
Yeah.
Romantic.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm like, wow, I can actually make money with the tickets.
Yeah.
You know? So I've made money with Andrea Bocelli, with Nicki Minaj.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't Taylor Swift's kind of profit, but it was like $500, $1,000. You know, I just buy them and I just resell them, and there's a lot of opportunity in that market. You know, when we talk about Live Nation, Ticketmaster, and there's a lot of opportunity in that market.
Is there the opportunity for third parties like you to provide like the tailored VIP experience in that market as well, or not so much? Because I feel like the venues and like the production companies that put on the shows and everything, they have that pretty much locked up, right? Like,
yeah, that's actually a very good question, because For some concerts, yes, but not for a lot of other. Like Taylor is untouchable. Like you're never gonna find anything in VIP for Taylor. And if there is someone selling stuff, it's fake. It's not. Yeah. However, I do try to sell packages for clients so they could go overseas. I actually had the client from Miami that he's like, "Can you get us tickets for Taylor Swift's concert in Miami?" And I'm like, it's easier for you to book a trip to Paris.
This is the same thing with Formula One.
Exactly.
Same thing with Formula One.
Yeah.
You can literally plan a whole trip around going to another country to see a race for like the same cost it would be to just get paddock passes for a race in the States.
So I booked the whole trip for him and his family. It was like 6 of them.
Yeah.
They went to Paris. We actually went to on the same day.
Yeah.
And I booked everything, the hotel. So that's another niche, you know. Like it was a very cool experience for me because you can make money with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, so many people do. Like
So many people.
You kid about the Super Bowl. There was like all those ads, or not ads. There were like articles that came out after the Super Bowl calculating, because like I forget what the hilarious number is, every like 6 seconds is worth $1 million during the Super Bowl or something, how much just the value of her airtime was. And like, you're right, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's very crazy. And I went to the very first night in Paris like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
There were only Americans. I couldn't see a French person in that crowd.
That was a thing too. Like the French people were not happy about that.
Yeah, they call. I read on an article today that they're calling the Taylor Swift travel industry in the summer. Like she's got so much power, and I love her because she's bringing so many people in Europe, and that's such a strong market. It's a whole new thing.
Yeah.
I feel like the travel industry goes through phases, and I feel like this is a new phase. People travel overseas because tickets are so expensive that they would rather travel somewhere else. I think she helped with GDP of Sweden when she went to Sweden.
Seriously.
Yeah, her and Beyonce. It was actually Beyonce. Like the prices inflated. Like it helped the whole country.
Yeah.
Like those artists, they have so much power that it's so crazy.
Yeah, they can literally impact like the GDP of an entire country.
Yeah, especially like a small business like me.
Oh yeah. Have you seen a surge in the Americans or anyone with access to the U.S. dollar going to Japan with what's going on with the yen right now?
Not really. I feel like Americans don't like to leave the country that much. When they do, they are loving Europe.
That's I was going to ask you this question. Yeah. Okay, all right. But you're right. Like Americans are much more reluctant to go to foreign countries, foreign destinations, where I feel like, Brazilians, for instance, they'll just go.
Yeah. I feel like, America has a lot of great destinations. You can You can spend so much time in the United States. So many nice things to do. I love America. It's like my favorite country in the world. But the thing is, there's so much to explore outside of America as well. And I feel like Americans don't explore that option a lot. And I feel like in Asia, there are not a lot of Americans that go there, regardless. But your friend, I forgot his name, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
But Andrew, shout out to Andrew.
He's there a lot. But he has to go. He has to go because he's buying cars there and shipping them back.
But he also likes it.
He likes it. He likes Japan a lot.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But Americans are now. I feel like after the pandemic, Americans started finding out about Europe.
Yeah.
So like Asia, Amalfi Coast.
I'm going in 2 weeks. I got to get your tips and tricks.
See?
Yeah.
You're going to Amalfi Coast?
Yes.
Amazing. Positano, Capri.
I know. I can't believe I didn't call you. After we wrap this up, I'll
give you some restaurant recommendations.
Perfect.
But I feel like, which is a nice thing, and I love.
But there you go. Testament. American. Going to Europe. Yeah.
And I love that it's so different because in Italy, I have 3 passports, I told you, right?
No.
So I can run to any country I want to, So in Italy, the
U.S., Brazilian,
Italian.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. I remember that now. Okay, sorry. Go
Yeah.
finish your
So
thought.
in Italy, the customer service, they don't. It's not the same Disney happy kind of customer service. In Italy, people are more like, there's one server for a 50 table restaurant. Like there's like a lot of people.
Take
but
it or
not-
leave it.
Take it or leave it. You know. So you don't mess with the Italians. You know. But it's very cool to see my American friends in places like Italy or France where customer service is not very well known. So
Yeah.
it's not about like you being babysitted. Like when you go to a restaurant here, oh,
Yeah.
you feel like a god, you know?
And if you get bad service, it's, oh, 1-star Yelp. I can't believe this
Yeah,
happened. You know,
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, when you go to Hillstone, it's amazing service. But
Yeah.
when you go to Hillstone with you guys, it's like you're the king of everything. You know, even better service.
Well,
But-
I was gonna say spend as much, but the answer is when you sit at the bar as much as we do.
Oh, yeah.
They know you. They
No,
know you.
but it's a very interesting dynamic, you know, Americans in Italy and stuff. But I feel like now you guys we are more open-minded about traveling overseas, and I feel like Asia will get there, but not yet, you know. And yeah,
But you'll have a Mimo flag there
yeah.
once Americans are going there. You'll already be set up.
Mars with
'Cause you're ahead of
Elon
it.
Musk too, you know, maybe we can work with them, you know. So I love Adele. Adele is my number one. I know that she's depressive, but
But sometimes you want a good cry.
Yeah, I
get it.
love, and I play the piano, so
Yeah.
like I feel like it's a vibe, you know.
Yeah.
And she's one of those honest artists where she's gonna go on stage and if she's not feeling it, she's gonna like, I wish I was eating a burger instead of being here.
When
but-
she snubbed the Kardashians at that one award ceremony, she won my heart.
Yeah,
she won
she
my
doesn't
heart. I was
care.
like, all right, Adele's
She
got
doesn't
it
need
forever.
to kiss people's
Yeah.
ass, and I love her voice. You know,
Yeah.
I love
It is
British
incredible.
artists. Her voice is amazing. I've watched her like 14 times already in Vegas, because she's one of those artists that she comes and goes. Like she's gonna stop for 5 years, and then she comes back. She does 1 year, and then so I have to really enjoy it. So one time I was going to Vegas to watch her concert, and when I land there, I see like banners about the Super Bowl, blah blah blah. I was like, oh, they're playing this. They're doing the Super Bowl here in Vegas.
Oh, so you were there
Yeah.
in Vegas to see Adele, but the Super Bowl's going on.
And people are like, oh, you're here for the Super Bowl. No, I'm here for Adele, you know? I'm here to cry a little bit.
Wow, gay
And
guy
then-
doesn't know the Super Bowl's going on in Vegas to see Adele.
Yeah.
Real original.
Yes.
Real original. All right,
And then
go.
I was like, okay, so, and my initial thought was like, so Taylor Swift might be here. I didn't even care about the Super Bowl. I was like, Taylor Swift might be here. I think I'm gonna meet her and everything. So, and then I go on this dating app. And then I always go on dating apps sometimes just to meet people, you know, not to romanticize, to be romantic or anything like that. Because I travel alone like 90% of the times.
Yeah.
So when I want to like have a friend and then go to drinks, and then I met a lot of friends through like dating apps and stuff. So I put on my profile, I want free Super Bowl tickets.
Stop. Okay.
What do you think happened?
You got free Super Bowl
So
tickets?
this guy is like, hey, do you want free Super Bowl tickets? I was like, yeah. He's like, what's your Ticketmaster email?
No.
I was like, I'm gonna give it to him because worst case scenario, what's he gonna do? He's gonna
He's not
hack
gonna
my email.
steal your identity through what?
You know,
Yeah.
I don't send naked pictures on my email, so I
Yeah,
don't.
especially Ticketmaster, right? Whatever. So you give him.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So I give him my email. The next day, an email comes with the Super Bowl ticket. He transferred to me. And then I was like, hey, I got the ticket. Like, dude, and he was not good looking, so he wasn't even worth it. And I could pay for the Super Bowl ticket, but
Of course.
Usher was playing. So I was like, I'm not going to pay $5,000 to see Usher. If he was like Adele, Lady Gaga, I don't know, Michael Bublé, even Michael Bublé, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, so I was like, so do you, listen, I'm not going to do anything with you. Like, I was just like kidding. But as I said to you, like everything that I do in my life is like, let's just do
We'll
like,
see
it's
we'll
fun.
see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So he's like, oh, no, it's because nobody asked for the tickets. And I had like 50 tickets because he works for a company. And I think he's the HR. And they were doing like a bonus kind of thing. And then there were a lot of people that couldn't go to the Super Bowl. So he had like spare tickets.
No.
And I was like, but why did you give it to him? He
asked.
said, well, because nobody asked. So I got in there for free. And then I watched the whole thing. It was super cool. I saw Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I saw so many artists. So it was a very cool experience. And he wasn't there because he felt sick. I mean, I was lucky enough.
You lucked out.
Yes.
Yeah, you lucked out.
So yes, and that's how I got and that's why I got the ticket. Yeah, because I asked.
Yeah.
That was it. And then I remember that after the halftime show, I was like, I'm gonna go after the halftime show because I don't want to like be here for 4 hours.
The performance is over.
The performance is over. That's when he said, hey, I just got in. Do you want to grab a drink? That's when I blocked him. I was like, I'm not gonna play that game. This is it.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it was luck, you know.
Have you ever heard from him since? Did he find your Instagram or anything?
Yeah, I think he created another profile on the dating app, and then he started calling me names. But I didn't care, you know. Like I got the best out of the
That's incredible.
deal, you know.
Yeah,
So,
that's a win.
Yeah, it was.
So
cool.
the moral of the story is always make the ask.
Always lie. I feel like that's
Good.
Yeah.
And that's how you end a podcast.
yeah.
That's it.